Welcome to the Power Within, where your journey to becoming unstoppable begins. This isn't just another motivation channel. This is a space for growth, for truth, and for unlocking the fire that's already inside you. Here, we don't just talk about change, we build it. So take a deep breath, lean in, and listen closely, because what you hear today might just be the spark that changes everything. It's almost unbelievable, but it's true. Your life can change in a single moment. One choice, one bold, conscious decision. That's all it takes to step onto a new path, to embrace a new belief system, to become a different version of yourself. Everything you've known yourself to be, your habits, fears, doubts, even the labels others placed on you, can dissolve the second you decide they no longer define you. Real people prove this every day. J.K. Rowling was a single mother battling depression when she chose to write. David Goggins transformed from an overweight, struggling man into one of the toughest endurance athletes alive through relentless daily choices. Sarah Blakely was selling fax machines before she bet on her idea and built Spanx into a billion-dollar brand. These aren't fairy tales, they're proof. The past only has power if you let it. Most of us live like elephants tied to ropes we could easily break, conditioned by old stories, unaware of our strength. But the truth is, you are not your past. You are your next decision. When someone says, "I'm not a morning person," what they really mean is they haven't trained themselves to be one, yet. When someone says, "I'm always the one people walk over," they're describing moments from the past, not an unchangeable reality. Who you were yesterday has nothing to do with who you can become today. Stop identifying with old stories that no longer serve you. Saying you're a bad student because you failed one test is like refusing to take off a raincoat just because it rained yesterday. Today, the sun is out. Adapt. Start now with small shifts. Read books like Atomic Habits and The Power of Habit. Study how change really works, not in sudden, overwhelming leaps, but through consistent, intentional action. A few years ago, I realized something that changed my life. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to wake you up and say, "You're meant for more." That has to come from you. Once I accepted that, I started asking myself better questions. Who am I becoming? What am I building? And am I proud of how I spend my time? That awareness gave me back my power, because life won't wait. The weeks, the months, the years, they're coming whether you're ready or not. And one day, you'll either look back with pride or regret. So if there's something or someone in your life that drains you, if there's a routine that leaves you empty, if you're stuck in cycles that bring no joy or meaning, ask yourself, why am I still choosing this? Nothing in your life is permanent unless you let it be. You are not stuck. You're simply standing still, and that can change. Don't let your past be a prison. Don't keep repeating days that no longer inspire you. The same way yesterday is now a memory, the version of you that feels stuck can also become a thing of the past. But only if you're brave enough to write a new ending. Not tomorrow, not next year, today, right now. Because the truth is, you're always one decision away from a completely different life. And that decision belongs to you. That moment when you decide to break free, when you finally pull on the rope you once believed held you, that's when everything changes. That's when life starts to respond to your energy, not your excuses. The truth is, transformation doesn't require permission. You don't need a sign. You don't need someone to hand you a roadmap. You just need to move. Because clarity isn't found in stillness, it's found in action. Think of anyone who's ever reinvented themselves. They didn't wait until they had it all figured out. They started messy. They started scared. But they started. That's the difference between those who talk about change and those who live it. I remember a friend who was stuck in a job she hated for years. Every day she would say, "I want something more." But she waited, out of fear, out of habit, out of self-doubt. One day she stopped waiting. She applied for a single course. That course led to a new skill, which led to a new job, which led to a career she never imagined. It didn't happen overnight, but it started the moment she said, "Enough. I'm moving forward." That's how it works. Progress compounds. Confidence builds. Every risk you take, every stretch outside your comfort zone, it all adds up. And suddenly, you're not just reacting to life anymore. You're shaping it, leading it, directing it. That's what being the creator means. It means refusing to let your past dictate your future. It means writing the next scene of your story with intention, not inertia. It means showing up every day not as a victim of your circumstances, but as the architect of your next chapter. So if you're waiting for a perfect moment, this is it. If you're waiting for a sign, here it is. Start small if you must. Shift your morning routine. Say yes to something you'd normally avoid. Call someone who inspires you. Apply for something that scares you. Whatever it is, move, because momentum isn't a gift, it's a habit. And once you build it, life starts to open up in ways you never saw coming. You are not just a character in a story being written by circumstance. You are the author, the director, the force that moves the plot forward. And your next move? That's up to you. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's your superpower. It's the moment you stop hiding behind perfection and start showing up as the real you. And that version, that's the one with the most potential. Because when you let go of the need to impress, when you stop living for approval, you start living in alignment with your purpose, your values, your mission. It's terrifying at first, but it's also freeing. Vulnerability is how you get in the game. It's how you move from spectator to player, from dreamer to doer. The truth is, no one remembers the person who played it safe, who stayed quiet, who never stepped forward. We remember the bold, the ones who showed up and said, "This is me. I might fall, but I'm here to try." Let's get real. Playing small won't protect you. It only keeps you stuck. You'll still feel fear. You'll still feel self-doubt. The only difference is, you won't have growth to show for it. You won't have stories of courage. You won't have the joy of discovering what you're truly made of. So ask yourself, what's scarier, failing or never knowing what could have been? Every time you choose courage over comfort, you take back your power. Every time you put your heart into something, knowing it might not work, you grow. You evolve, and eventually you inspire, not because you were perfect, but because you were real, because you were brave enough to be seen. So be bold enough to risk looking foolish. Be strong enough to risk being misunderstood. Be courageous enough to bet on yourself, even when the odds aren't clear. Vulnerability is the price of greatness, and when you pay it, you gain access to a version of you the world has yet to meet. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need everyone's approval. What you need is one honest moment of courage. And from that moment forward, everything can change. Here's the truth that most people spend their lives avoiding. Time won't slow down for you, and momentum doesn't arrive on its own. It doesn't knock. It doesn't ask for permission. It sits in the background, silent and still, waiting for you to start moving, waiting for you to step forward. And it always will, until you decide that waiting is no longer an option. There will never be a perfect time. The conditions won't magically align. That feeling of being completely ready? It's an illusion. But action, that's real. Action is what changes things. It's what builds momentum, what breathes life into the ideas and goals you once thought were out of reach. Look at anyone who ever created something meaningful, an artist, an entrepreneur, a leader. They all stood at the edge of uncertainty and chose to leap. Brené Brown calls vulnerability the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. She's right, because without vulnerability, there is no breakthrough. Without risk, there is no reward. The world is full of people who are waiting until they feel ready, until they're more confident, until they're guaranteed success. But readiness doesn't come first, action does. Confidence is built through movement, through falling and rising, failing and trying again. If you want more from life, stop watching the clock and start owning it. Because time will pass no matter what. The question is, what will you do with the seconds you're given? That's the difference between simply existing and actually living with intention. Every second that slips by is a missed opportunity to move, to grow, to choose something better. But the power of right now is still in your hands. You still have this moment to pivot. You can stop accepting a life that feels too small for the person you know you're capable of becoming. Growth demands courage. If you want to evolve, you have to be willing to walk into the unknown and brave enough to let go of what's no longer meant for you. Comfort may feel safe in the moment, but regret lingers. So trade safety for movement. Trade hesitation for boldness, because everything you want is waiting just outside your current perspective. And every single step forward is a promise to yourself. I will no longer stay stuck, I will move. The wildest part? Most people don't even realize they're making a choice each day, but they are. Every time you choose not to act, you're still choosing. You're choosing the easy road over the meaningful one, familiarity over growth, the short-term comfort that always comes at the cost of long-term fulfillment. The second you realize this, everything shifts. You remember that nothing changes unless you allow it, that you're the one who decides what stays and what goes. And every limitation you feel, it's only there because you've allowed it to be. So ask yourself, what am I still allowing that holds me back? What routines, relationships, or beliefs no longer match the future I want? You've always had the tools, you've always had the potential, but tools alone don't build anything. They need hands, they need direction, they need a builder, and that builder is you. The blueprint for the life you want has been waiting all along. The materials are already within reach. What's left is the decision to begin. Maybe it starts with one uncomfortable action, a phone call, a new application, a single page in your journal, a workout, a boundary, a choice to finally step out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, do it. Because that small move, it's enough to shake everything into motion. And once you're in motion, everything begins to change. I've learned more in the dark than I ever did in the light. It wasn't during the celebrations or victories that I grew. It was in the quiet, painful spaces in between. I remember one night vividly, driving alone down a stretch of highway, nothing but headlights on an empty road, everything familiar fading into the rearview mirror. That was the night I finally understood what real transformation feels like. I had been hurt, let down by people I trusted, betrayed by expectations that didn't match reality. And in that space between what I thought would happen and what actually did, I found something unexpected: clarity. I discovered the power of loyalty, not in words, but in action. I realized that showing up for people, especially when it's inconvenient, when it costs you something, that's where real strength lives. Pain has a way of stripping away the noise. When you allow yourself to fall, you realize the ground isn't as deadly as you feared. You survive. You stand up, not the same, but stronger. With more grit, more grace. The hurt becomes a teacher. The silence teaches you how to listen. The loss teaches you how to value what you have. The disappointment forces you to see what really matters. We rush through life, assuming everything will always be there, until something reminds us just how fragile it all is. From conflict, I learned restraint. Most battles aren't worth fighting, because everyone's fighting a war you can't see, shaped by their wounds, their past, their fears. When you pause to understand that, you begin to lead differently. Not through force, but through empathy. From being the quiet one, the overlooked one, I learned that leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about helping others feel seen, heard, valued. Sometimes that means walking alone. But when you walk with vision and conviction, you won't be alone for long. People are drawn to authenticity, to someone who believes in something real. Life is the greatest teacher, but it doesn't give lectures. It gives experiences. It tests you. And it's in those tests, the heartbreaks, the rejections, the long nights, that the lessons show up. You won't always see the value right away, but one day you'll look back and realize those moments built you. They made you resilient. They gave you depth, and you wouldn't trade them for anything. If you don't take the risk, you'll never know what's waiting for you. If you don't speak your truth, you'll never feel truly known. If you don't step into the unknown, you'll never discover what you're capable of. Playing it safe might protect you from failure, but it also shields you from greatness. So ask the hard questions, take the bold steps, write the chapter no one else can write, because no one else carries your story, your voice, your vision. No one's gonna tap you on the shoulder and say, "This is your moment." That's your job. Every moment becomes your moment the second you choose it. Let this be the day you stop waiting. Let this be the first sentence of a new chapter. You are not just the reader of your story. You are the author. You are the architect. You are the hero. And the life you've been dreaming about, it's not in the distance. It's right here, waiting to be built. Remember this, life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Every second is a chance to step into your potential, to rise above fear, and to build the life you know you're meant to live. Today's message isn't just about momentum or courage or clarity. It's about ownership. Because the moment you understand that you are the one holding the pen, everything changes. Now it's your turn. Take that first step, have that conversation, start that project. And if this message sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to The Power Within for more content that challenges you, inspires you, and reminds you of the greatness you already carry. We're just getting started, and your next chapter begins now. Stay bold, stay focused, and never forget the power you hold within. The answers you've been chasing, they've been inside you all along. But you won't hear them until you stop drowning in distractions and start listening to yourself. The universe is nudging you. It's giving you the tools, the signs, the chances, but it's on you to pick them up. To stop playing small. To stop thinking you need permission to live fully. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're not too late. You're standing exactly where you need to be, on the edge of something extraordinary.